Hello. Right, you lot. Hang on. We are going to be playing some of this in the background, right? So I'm just gonna leave this tick over for a minute, so you all can enjoy it. Where's my notes? Yeah, I made notes. Right. Okay. Yeah. Well, what you can do in the background is some music I done a while ago. To some videos. Might have been about 2000 or 1998. Who knows? Oh no, I think this is more recent. Yeah, this was for an animation piece which you can find on YouTube. And this is the music I used for it. I'm sure, I would have ordered it. So in the last, 10 years perhaps, who knows? Anyway, so I don't know. Right, there's other choices. You could either have Adele or Moon Serenade. I don't know, was that one? Led Zeppelin. And there's a few others. But what I will do, I'll just leave mine on for the moment because the last time I tried playing something, I think it got blocked. So I do like music in the background. This is my thing, right? Yes, it is music. It's not just me banging on the table with my head. That would be, I mean, this is another thing, right? When I was younger, I remember it was about 1986, say, right? And I had my Commodore 64, and this is Christmas film, and I like music, and it was an option to, and I seen in one of the magazines there was a sampler you could buy for these things for this Commodore 64. So I bought it, and it arrived one day. Oh my god, it was brilliant. I was a big art and noise fan. So I think that's how it got me into it. It was just like, if you're going to do something, try and do it differently, right? So sampling is just another way of being really creative, isn't it? So, and this is really early days of sampling, I guess, because you could play up and down. As I suppose it's always been used to some extent. There's sound effects and in music, like Floyd or even the Beatles and stuff like that. Or but those are the only two I knew. And so I got it, and I was so chuffed to have it, the sampling thing. And so that is something which I've always enjoyed doing, playing music. And it's not, it's just for me, really, because I mean, I always was doing these videos. I was using Super 8 at the time. It's like Super 8. God, I bet people don't even know what Super 8 is it? It's like film. It's actual film, but comes in like 3 minutes, and it's very small, so it can be quite grainy, but it's beautiful, and it's quite authentic, and it's so I was doing a lot of those films, but I needed the music, some audio to go with it, and it was great for that. And so I've always enjoyed doing audio, and well, as you can see, I mean, this is using probably a bit more sophisticated stuff, but what I liked about Bath College is that hang on. What I liked about Bath College is that when I went and had a little roam around, they had a grand piano in a room just off from the library. What colleges can say that, yeah? And huge bay windows that overlook Bath. So it was amazing, amazing building. And funny enough, I get a couple of emails off Bath College, the Illuminae, and I always try to get myself involved in them by saying, "Yeah, I have done really well. You definitely want to try and chat to me about everything I've done." So I'll send him a picture of me in my shed with a holy bobble cap on. Yeah, right. He looks like he's made it. So. And but I always try and do, and I can see they've moved anyway. They've moved down into Bath itself, into this well, I say a new building. It's it's like a 1960s or 70s modernist looking building, which was vacant, I think. So it's everything changes. So being in Bath and Zion Hill, that was just like, who knew it wasn't gonna last that long, but it was definitely for me a fantastic time, and I think for everybody else, because I know we used to work hard and play hard. Well, I did, and I used to sort of work really, really hard in the days and stuff throughout the night, and then but come a weekend, hey, I used to like to dress up just as much as the next person, so and party in a toga. So that's what it was like. It was really enjoyable college. Hang on, right then. So yeah, I don't know if go on their website, Bath. I might be on there in my bob lap. Right, Neale, things to say on my piece of paper. And I write these things down because sometimes I feel like I've always got something to say, but I keep forgetting. So I don't want to, in case my brain is going to lockdown or it's just going because of age. So I write a few things down so I remember what to do. Oh, I think the last time I was doing one of these, I was going to talk about fashion, wasn't I? Okay. Well, before I do that, I mean, as an artist, I always found it difficult to work with other people, and that was a sad thing. And then I look back at that now, I think that was something I should have really concentrated on, not trying to do it all myself. And that's really a secret to it. Well, a sort of to anybody else really as an artist, collaboration is probably the way forward, or working in groups and stuff. So don't try and do it all yourself. It's more fun if you can work with other people, especially if you're on the same wavelength, and you're interested in the same things, perhaps. So after this is more or less recently in the last 5 years, I wanted to get some screen printing done. And the only place to do it was in Swansea Art College. So the foundation, and if I remember, it's Bella who was running it, and there's a few of us. I forget the names now, but I asked them, and they were really kind. They said, yeah, of course you can come down on a Saturday morning, perhaps in it when there's nobody around. So I did that, and they got me. We done it. I got some fantastic screen prints. One is ruined now. I'm gutted about, but you live and learn what you can and cannot do with a screen print. But I got my money's worth out of the blooming thing. But in return, I did say, I said, they said, would you like to do a show and tell? And I sort of thought, well, I don't work. It's teaching. It's always been a strange thing with me. Is that, like, what have I got to teach? But anyway, I said, okay, I'll do it. Yeah, because hang on, let me think now. I had done a show and tell before, but I can't. So I wasn't brand new to show and tell, because I know I use a lot of the stuff I had before anyway. So my show and tell, I started off with a music video by Sugar Babes. And if you look it up, God knows I can't remember his name, so unprofessional of me. But if I look it up here, come on, internet. So if I look up the director of that, I think, and it was Caught in the Middle. And I'll tell you then. Oh, something there. So, yeah. So I was very... I looked that video, and it's just a fantastic video. But what I did realize is that it is very much art orientated. It's very fine art. So I would look it up, and I would look at it, and I would start the show and tell off with that. And I would just say it would be a big surprise, because I don't think people would be expecting that. So hang on, maybe right. So the name, hang on, where is the? Right, who's the? Because it was the director of the video which I was really interested in. Honest, it was. So where's the video then? Complex and lyrics, reception chart, music video. Matthew Ralston. No, Matthew Russell Ralston, actually. So I'm on Wikipedia now. And so anyway, I looked at and I followed it through and I found out about this guy. And then I found out that he had worked with Warhol and stuff like that. And I could see in that music video, before I found out who's the director, what captured me was it was very fine art orientated. You looked at it and it could have well been a painting, compositionally and everything like that goes along with fine art, right? Okay. So, but that's when it dawned on me that how many times have fine art been raided by the music industry, you know? They needed to sort of stick a music video on it, so they would maybe just run down to the gallery. I think Terry Gilliam used to do it for Monty Python and stuff. And so now the music videos, and I was just thinking how important they are. So it was important for me to do a show and tell, and that was in my mind at the time. And actually, I know a lot of the students got a lot from that because they had never made or they were very interested in it. And I think that's what I wanted with the show and tell. I wanted to make it interesting. So, that couldn't be 9 minutes, is it? It's like, all right, let's put on another one then, is it? Right, this is another one of mine. So so a lot of people got from it, and I think that's what I want with show and tell, to show exactly what interests me, what art is, because it's really all about art with me. And then I could show them some of the fashion stuff, and then some of the paintings, and show them what going on in the studio. In the meantime, I just do a little bit of talking, but any good questions come up, or if you want to say anything, then that's good. So all in all, you can go on for at least an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. And then actually on that day, I spent the rest of the day just looking around, getting to know the students. And I was the last one to leave. I love working, and I just enjoy art and being around art. But then in this case, it was around other people, and it was just like, oh, I haven't seen other people for ages again. Anyway, I must say, after all that, and I really got a lot from it. It was really good. I managed to fashion, right? So let me just talk about that. I have always looked at the work, and I've always thought it would work well in textiles. So for many years, I tried to find somebody I could work with. And then I got in touch with a Welsh designer. And so after being friends for a while on Facebook, I think I was offered an opportunity to do work on some sort of, it was 40 years of punk. Who would have thought it? There was an anniversary coming up in London. So fortunately, she thought of me. And I done a lot. I just painted on what she brought into the studio, and it sort of went down well because I spent the next 4 years sort of twice a year working on these collections for her, and so I used to enjoy the fashion. I got a lot from it. I'd like seeing the way that the work in the studio could sort of. When you're working on a painting, you're usually working on just one side. So when you're working on something which is like a clothes, you're working on in 3 dimensions, really, 4 dimensions if you count walking. So you move it. So this sculpture it's like kinetic sculpture when the models are wearing it and it's coming down. And I've got to admit, there's some great photographs taken of it, and I think it would be right to say that it all comes down to photography with fashion, because you notice how important they used photography. I'm not sure. If anything, when you think about fashion, music, and media, is there another direction it could go in? I know you've got to wear the clobber, but I'm just thinking off the top of my head now. It was fashion is definitely. It was very interesting, but it could definitely feel I mean, actually, in this lockdown, it had to take a different view, really, hasn't it? Because they were unable to have the London Fashion Weeks in physical form, I guess. So they had to do a sort of a online thing. So maybe that was the start of it. Who knows? Maybe it should take place in a virtual world, with those 3D headsets and stuff. And well, you wouldn't even actually leave the house then, would you? I mean, if you've ever had used those 3D headsets, a real proper one, absolutely brilliant. It's just like being there. I done the bombing over Berlin and that was like being I was a bomber, and with authentic sound and everything. And the next one was looking for gorillas in the Congo. And I was in a minivan and I was looking around and there was people right next to me. I mean, you're not talking about animation, you're talking about physical, real people. I know none of you believe me, but until you've been in one of these 3D headsets, it's absolutely like better than the lawnmower, man. Better than that. So anyway, right, so I'm down in the foundation, so I'm getting a lot from that. And then, yeah, so, I started doing that. And then fashion came, and then I started doing a show and tell with the fashion up in London. I think it was in a Condé Nast. There was a college there. Which I got a lot of fun of, again, meeting young people who are interested in things. And you've got to make it interesting. I give you that. There's no point sitting there just knocking things out, words out. I think you've got to be entertaining as well. So hopefully with my show and tells, maybe I might do some more. Maybe what have been happening in lockdown and stuff. But I mean, this is a bit like a show and tell, isn't it? I'm telling you things and, So big call out to New York. I know I got fans in New York. We like to do the dishes while listening to my loud voice. Don't drop any of those in the kitchen. You know all about it, wouldn't they? So anyway, yeah. So it's nice to know there's people actually listening to this. So right, what have I got written down here now? Time lapse. Did I talk about time lapse? Funny actually, this music was used on an animation. I know I might have covered this earlier in another artcast, but the amount of times people used to come up to me and look at the work and go, "What's that about then?" Or why you done this? Why is it like this? Right. Which after a while, right, you put on a brave face and you go through gritted teeth. It's lovely. Yes, it is. But what I started doing is animation. I said, look, instead of answering you these questions now, come and have a look at this. So I had one of these portable DVD players, and I put my animation on, which would basically be a painting being built up slowly. Not a huge painting, but something small, and they'd be mesmerized by it. I'm not just saying that because it was mine, but they'd be mesmerized by the stop frame animation of it. And so that got me thinking about animation and why it was so important and what it does to people. Captures it rears something in their mind. It gives them an actual understanding, because so many times, like, you look at, I think I've done this subject before. Anyway, I'll just briefly do it. Homer Simpson or Disney and stuff. And there's something about the connection that drawing comes alive when you look at it and you actually believe it. So it's a great connection. Actually, when I just say I did do an essay on Disney, and many years ago, and it was caught. Somebody picked it up. I think it was the Welsh. Let me write that something down. I'm going to have to cover this Welsh art, right, which is on at the moment. Remember the same talk about that. So. Oh, I do like this part. Let me just go quiet for a moment. And I'm going to turn it up to 100. 101. Oh, it's gone off. Right, hang on. Hang on. Come on. Oh, that was it. Right, anyway, look, it doesn't matter. Yeah, so, oh God, I forgot what I was talking about now. Have a look. Yeah, animation. So, I lost my train of thought now. So, sorry for you lot. You can wind me back, but I'm doing this. This is another thing I'm doing. I'm streaming this live, right? So, It's not that like I've edited anything, but I can't actually stop it either. So I just wanted to continue in one go. Actually, I could stop it, couldn't I? And I'll pause it. But I just hope it's bloody recording. 20 minutes. And I got one person looking at it. Oh, it's me. Right. So anyway, okay. Right. So what was I just talking about? What was I saying? Got done with a time lapse. So it was animation about something. Oh yeah, the Disney thing. So I wrote an article about Disney, and I got a good. Somebody got in touch with me many years after reading it, and they said that was good, wasn't it? I said, yeah, it was good. But I always used to write a lot of essays about art, and I used to constantly send them out. But a quick fun fact: a lot of the stuff I was writing out, I felt was getting poached, and I wasn't getting credit for what I was saying, and so other people would use it in. And anyway, that's what I felt was going on. I thought, Jesus, how are they coming up with the same things that I'm saying? You know, like comparing maybe art and music being the sort of the color, or the color being the rhythm, and the drawing being the lyrics, and there was lots of things. Anyway, it really put me off writing for a while. So I don't mind people taking it, but you just got to show credit, haven't you? And so anyway, I'd done a Disney essay, and I was thinking why Disney was so successful, and it's because it's what he is. He's like I consider him one of the big, the top three geniuses: Disney, Genesis, and Picasso. Right? Genesis, the band. Right? Phil Collins. I can feel it coming in the air tonight. Oh. Right. Anyway, I bought tickets for Steve Ackett. That got cancelled, didn't it? In Cardiff due to lockdown. Stop it, Neil. You're going off track again. So, right, yeah. So I would. So Disney, it was like a combination of between advertising and art, and I think he used to work in advertising as well. So that if the repetition of artwork of the Disney character of Mickey Mouse, the constantly repetition. If you go to any of his any of his places, it's thrown at you, right? So your brain actually takes it on, and it becomes a real physical thing. So it's a bit like brainwashing, and it's brilliant. It's because it's totally legal. I mean, these are subliminally programming in films, but I think that's banned. But you can, that's what advertising is. Show enough people the same image over and over, they'll want it. And I think that's what Disney was such a genius at doing. I mean, he basically built a civilization around him, and that's really incredible to do, isn't it? But he did it, and we're still here today. Walt Disney is still here today. Disney, God, every year, films. They could have make films quick, couldn't they? Anyway, that was the essay, and I know I've got good thing for that. Right, what have I got by here now? Time lapse. Well, I do a lot of time lapse at the moment. Okay, I'll do that at another time. Talk about that again. So, killing myself. Oh, right. Okay. There was a point when I did actually report my own death. Now, when that would have been, I think the Artist Monday had just been. So you're talking about 2003 or something. And I went out, and I just had enough, because I don't get anywhere in Wales, right, with my artwork. And anyway, I was always dissed, and maybe it was for a good reason. I don't know. Anyway, so I'd always felt hard done by, that I wasn't getting chosen to do anything. And anyway, so I came on one night, and I think, the internet wasn't been long going, and I just emailed everybody on my email list, saying that Neale was found dead this morning in his studio, and I don't know, maybe something had fallen on him, or maybe he was murdered by Walt Disney. Who knows? The clues are there. Maybe that would be a good installation. I could get the Welsh artist at the moment. He's living in America. He's a teacher. Oh, shame I can't remember his name. And because we've seen a great show of his in Luxembourg a couple of years ago. Great gallery out there. Oh, I nearly had it then. I nearly had his name from Newport, yes. If he's ever listened to this, get in touch. Yeah, so see, I've done it again, man. I keep going off on these tangents and I keep forgetting what the hell I was talking about. So it's annoying. Such annoying. Oh yeah, killing myself, wasn't it? And so I just reported my own death, and anyway, in the next morning, I woke up, a bit of an hangover. I didn't think nothing too much of it. And then suddenly I started getting a phone call saying there's Neale there. So speaking. He said, "Oh, didn't you die?" I said, "Oh, what? What have I done now?" And then I had a reef come to the door, and the whole thing was that I was so annoyed, peed off with everything, and I felt that the only way to get attention is because you're dead. So then I think I got it put in the paper and everything. Do you know what? My uncle, I think he went overboard. He said, "What are you doing that for? You could kill your parents." I said, "Oh, good idea." So I goes, "That's a joke." He goes, "You can't joke about things like that." But I was looking at the moment, right? There's a lot of webcast funerals, So that got me thinking. I don't know whether to rehash that old idea and just do I could just do it live, really. Then couldn't I? Stream it live. Anyway, right. So what we got now? So that would all to do with the Artist Monday or some other competition Wales was doing. So that annoyed me. So more annoying, right? Then we got winning Eisteddfod. Oh, right. I've National Eisteddfod. No, if you don't know what the National Eisteddfod is, it's a large exhibition every year, and they have a part of it is the art exhibition, the art part. So they do music and theatre and singing and dancing, and lots of other things. There's a big white tent travels around Wales, telling everybody if you speak English, don't come in. Right. So, but they basically is a Welsh festival, and so I've always thought of winning the gold medal. As they said, is probably as neatest you're going to get to playing for Wales, I think, in rugby. But I mean, even so, over the years, I've got really bit interested about that because I never got anywhere near it. But unfortunately, I've shown in it a few times. Actually, I could say I might have shown in it the most. I don't apply anymore because I think I'm sort of banned. I mean, it's just that they prefer not to actually write English now. Before it was not speak English, but now you can't even write it now anywhere near your artwork. So look at the rules yourself. It's a joy to read that. Well, any other language, great. But anyway, art is supposed to be an international language, isn't it? So I think a lot of people don't apply to the National Eisteddfod anymore for those reasons that it's just too complicated to get work in. And I think if you look at the work you in the last maybe 5 years, it's just plain. I'm not saying it's no god or it's not better than the net of anybody else's. It's just plain. And what I mean by that is that I'm not saying they're all Rothkos, but they won't have any sort of expressionistic of words unless it's written in Welsh. So, I think telling people what they can and cannot do is like telling a musician, "Oh, look, I want you to write something for me, but these are the notes I don't want you to use." And it's with artwork, you've got to just leave an artist get on with it. If you like it, put it in. If you don't like it, don't give them set rules. I think they're onto a loser. Anyway, so that's gone. That's out of the window. I might come back to that in future artcasts. Who knows? That's what I'm like. BLM, Colston. Oh, right. So I think during lockdown, we all had the Black Lives Matter on the TV, and we could see what was going on in America with a lot of the sort of, which would look like rioting at some points and protest and that, and then the pulling down of all the, a lot of the statues, and one of the statues got pulled down around here was this guy who was called Edward Colston, and he was like some businessman who dealt in slave trade, and they had like a statue of him in Bristol. So that got pulled down. But I think why I wrote that down as my notes, I think it's because those guys, the crowd that pulled it down, I think 4 or 5 of them went to court about a month ago, and it was never. And I mean, I just come across it by accident on the internet, but you don't hear people. The same. I mean, I wrote something on about this statue being pulled down and the way it was pulled down. It was I compared it to the Taliban or what was happening in Iraq when they were pulling down Saddam Hussein, right? So that was my observation, and then people decided. It went on for a while, actually. A few comments on Facebook were that, and I went on for a while. But that's fair enough. Everybody got a point of view. You know, I wasn't trying to be nasty. Nobody's trying to be nasty. I think everybody's sympathetic, if anything. But it's funny how, where are those people now? You know, where these guys have gone to court and they've been done. So where's the protest for them all over the internet? It's and I think a lot of people have given up reading the internet, and I feel the same as well. Sometimes I use it for my work, but it's very angry. A lot of angry people on it right at the moment. I think it's getting worse, and I think it's getting really annoying. Internet. I'm not saying that's a good or bad thing. It's just the way it's going at the moment. And so I think all this angriness that came out last year about Black Lives Matter. Don't you think about it now? Those guys are gone to court, and where there's people who are sticking up for them then. Anyway, it's just an observation. Talk about show and tell, print. Oh, I done that tonight. Frustration at not winning. Oh, well, yeah. Controversy at the Eisteddfod. Oh, I can't be asked to go into that because I've done 30 minutes now, right? And I don't know. I think I might need a break because this music of mine is doing my friggin' head in. It's just like too much Howells at the moment. Half an hour of Howells is too much. Maybe I should come with a little break, which is a good idea actually, because I might come with an advert. Okay. Bing bong. Hello. This is an advert. Are you stuck in the house, going mental, out of your mind, thinking that everybody else is going on holiday and you ain't? Or that Meghan and Harry are having a better time than you in a millionaire house, as everybody have been told about? Well, don't worry. You're not. Nobody is. Nobody's doing anything, I think. So if you want to cheer yourself up, get in touch with artist Neale Howells. Ooh, I'll ask him a question, because I'm sure he could stick it on his artcast or stick it somewhere. Oh, you're thinking. But that was okay, advert over. But I think I enjoyed that interview with Harry and Meghan, and we watched it this week. I think it was on. So we all knew it was coming on. It was building up over it for the week. And I thought it was just a really good, nice interview. I mean, everybody sort of like hates the royals and thinks she's like, we had this guy, Piers Morgan. I think that's his name, is it? Piers Morgan. And he retired from TV for 10 minutes in disgust at the interview. So I was watching that this morning. He does a sort of an early morning program over here and he got up and walked out. I just like I don't know. I don't even watch TV in the morning. Bloody hell, wish I had now. But I just thought it was a great interview, and I thought they would. I'm in the category of them being genuine. There's so much like. I will probably put my. I won't say it's the end of the royal family, what we've seen there. But this is really important interview, a bit like Princess Diana, and that sort of really shook everything. And I think people are fed up now. I think you got the Queen's old man in hospital, so he maybe he isn't long here. He won't be around much longer. Queen, she's getting to 100. You know, people don't go much further than 100, do they? I mean, you know, maybe she does. Who knows? But then once they go, I think you're going to be left with Charlie, his wife, which nobody really likes, you know, the guy, the William and Harry. And I think everybody, I thought William and Harry are great. I mean, you know, they're just sort of like ordinary people doing really good things. I mean, what's the problem with that? You take the royalty away from them and they, you know, they just doing this incredible stuff. So I don't know. I don't know if anybody's going to start fault. I mean, you got William and Kate left, and I don't know. I think if they don't all make up and be friends, I think it's not looking good left the Royals. They can cut it down. I think probably, you know, maybe cut it back on among the number of people and just keep it to sort of like a major families or major family or something like that, perhaps. But I enjoyed the interview, and I thought. I mean, I still think, God, he's a lucky. He probably thinks it as well, doesn't he? He done well for himself. He's so lucky. Do you know what I mean? And I think he proved how much he loved her by giving it all up. You know what I mean? For her. So it's like I said, you know, Oprah with a suggesting eyebrows. Just like, give you a question and then raise those eyebrows one at a time, very slowly, leading you in. So she was really good interview. Can you imagine if that was Piers Morgan, the guy who just run off? I mean, that's something I'd like to see. And then an interview between Piers Morgan and Meghan Markle. So I think everybody would like. Oh, it would be more of a boxing match, innit? Put them in a ring together. She could kick the hell out of him. Something like that. You know. So anyway, that was this week. Now, what am I doing? Look, it's 37 minutes. So I'm really okay. I'll just talk about last bit now, I think. Welsh Art. Welsh Art is coming on TV at the moment. And we have been witnessing. Hello, somebody have written, yeah, it's the same old face. It's the same old artwork over and over. Now, the thing is, it's always worth seeing the same old artwork. If an artwork's any good, you'll come back to it, right? To see the new things in it over and over and over. Okay, so I think, and it's always worth reminding yourself of what we've got as well and the story behind it. So I think over the years, it doesn't really matter the Welsh, because I think you do need to remind people what we have. And even remind me, I mean, I'm not, God, I live in Wales, but I'm not an academic on Welsh art. I mean, I'm an artist who sort of like just does art, and I was, you know, and complains about it when it doesn't go his way. You know, this is what I do mostly. So it's been enjoyable watching the BBC, and it was Hugh, the DJ. Oh, I gotta find his real name. I mean, I hate that. So not mentioning people's real name. So I'll just put in Welsh Art, story of, and it's on iPlayer, but I know a lot of people around the world don't get that. Do you hear that? That's a whale. You know, some people keep goldfish. Well, I keep a whale. Or is that Wales calling? You do live in Wales. Story of Welsh art. So here we go. Hugh Stevens. So I know. I'll tell you what. If I was giving awards away, I would give award to who pronounces the word art the best, and he certainly got the word art. Don't do it. I mean, you know, it's great. It's become a catchphrase now with him. So I've done episode 1. And I'm going to do episode 2 maybe later on. But I thoroughly recommend it. I think what people want, though, and I think what people are asking for is a contemporary episode. And, well, that's something which I have always enjoyed, the gossip you know, about art in Wales and stuff, and who's getting by because who knows who, or, you know, yeah, who knows there's any truth in it. But it's nice, you know, it's just the way the world is run, I think, sometimes. It's not what you know, it's who you know. And so it would be nice to have points of view on curators and other artists who have been, I mean, if you was to take an example like the CVA, which was in Cardiff a couple of years, many years ago, the Centre of Visual Arts, it was like a big, it was going to be a brand new way of showing art in Wales. So they had this old library right in the middle of Cardiff, and Central Library kicked all the existing artists out of there, right? And I think I've done this subject as before as well, and built it out of this. Anyway, I think I might have covered that. But that itself is part of the contemporary art, in Wales, how bad we are at doing art, visual art. I mean, I think Hugh mentions it in the last part of this episode. It's how much he have noticed we've got here, because he gets to go around and see all these things and talk to people about art. But I think even he would say how visual art is not a worldwide, it's not well-known worldwide Welsh art, maybe, you know what I mean? Kerry Richards, and fair enough. And we're more known for our acting and music and maybe and theatre, and that area, rather than the visual arts. Hey, so listen now, when I'm dead, which could be in a week Tuesday now, if I do it right, we'll stream it, and we can see the work going up. I think the trick of being a good artist is to make money while you're still alive. This is the thing about Damien Hirst and how good he is. Although he's seems to be slagged off a lot. I don't know why. So Hugh's been doing Welsh art, and so let's hope we can do a contemporary one sooner rather than later. Because there's tons of artists in Wales all working away, and I don't think they've had a voice properly. Not since we did have a good arts program called The Slate, and I gotta remember that one with Eddie Lard, and she used to be a sort of little ball of energy, but she had a great attitude to art, and I think Eddie's still around these days, still doing a theatre thing and doing street theatre and that. But after this BBC Slate, which was the best, I think a lot of people would say it was the best arts program Wales have ever had. They came up with something called Double Yellow. And I laugh about it already, because I think the first words to that program was, "Welcome to Double Yellow. It's double yellow because it's no time for stopping." So double yellow, you're not allowed to park your car on it. And you knew it was off to a bad start straight away with those. And it just looked like an adult version of Take Art or Vision On. Didn't have the clout that the Slate had, and so I think it just died a death. And I think I could be right to saying that when on its very last episode, they counted 0 people watching it. That is incredible. Nobody tuned in to watch Double Yellow. I think I used to tape it in the end. I never used to stay in to watch it. But they had little things like a gallery, so maybe people, very much like Tony Art Take Art or Vision On, where you could send your work in and see it on the TV. But that was about as close as you get. We had lots of other things. S4C was really good. Bandit was on there. Nicola Haywood, she's still about, and she still does arts programs on the Radio Wales, but she was very good. She was a really good arts program HTV did. But I don't know why. I've been to so many meetings over the years with the arts councils where they say it's all going to change. We're going to have groundbreaking art programs. I've never seen them. I know the last one I went to, they said, "Oh yeah, YouTube and that." Well, where's the channel on YouTube about it? I haven't seen it. So it doesn't really, it's not really happening unless it's happening and I don't see it. Right, so I'm going to call it a day there. Oh yeah, I've got a few things. Auction. We're doing, actually, I think when it arrives, we're doing something, Josh Records or Josh Magazine or Josh Records got in touch with me to say there's an auction going on and would I like to do something. So I think the Manic Street Preachers, Nicky Wire, is going to send us something. So we're going to paint on that. It's like a pressed record. I don't know what exactly they are. Soon find out, hopefully. So we're going to do something on that, and I think I know what we're going to do already. So that'll be fine. I'm going to do my own auction. I've sent stuff into Ben Rogers this week. He picked some stuff up. So because like I'm doing all this senior type, and I'm doing these, what I think is quite really nice handmade prints made with homemade negatives. I mean, it took a lot of time to get right, and I hopefully the finished people now I can do them. I hopefully people will respond with them. So I'm going to put them in auction, and I know auctions are always hit and miss. It depends. But why I'm decided to do it this time, and cross fingers we get it right, is that it's now web based. So the auction will be online, and so there's going to be a much bigger audience. So hopefully we can get a higher price on that. And I think as an artist, you want your secondary market to be strong, and that's the only way you're going to try and get into the bigger markets, like the auction houses like Phillips and Christie's and stuff, because they won't touch you really. It's look, I can tell you stories about how you can get your art in there, right? But you need to sort of pull a few strings and stuff, and you've got to be quite streetwise and stuff. But I'm not. So I'm doing it round maybe the slow way. So we're trying to build up our secondary market, and but hey, it's something I've always wanted to get involved with, and so maybe something will come of this, and we'll soon see. Right, I think I could call it a day now. This music is doing my head in, so don't worry, you won't have this music next week. I'm going to try and put on some of the other stuff. So I don't want to leave on that. So what have I got here? So see, they don't like, they just there's a Christmas one in it. Hey, be Christmas now. We've been in lockdown for so long. I don't really think we should even take the tree down. One of the best Christmas records. So I know it's spring, but who cares? Time means nothing in lockdown. Who cares? Sung by a choir. Folks don't like. I don't think he's been racist. It's bright. And tucks your eyes are aglow. Find it hard to sleep tonight. Well, okay, I'm gonna. All right, Andy, we know you're good. You're the best. But if I only knew how to switch you off. Oh, hang on there. Hang on. There we are. He's off. Probably I'll get blocked because it's on there for too long. Oh, and there we go. Some of the cracking stuff. So I can't. That would definitely get blocked because they're really well-known bands. Okay, right. So let's leave it there, and hopefully I'll have enough strength to do it next week. Oh yeah, I'm going for my jab tonight and my vaccine. So hopefully, if I make it through it, because I know the result, the side effects, and all can stretch a bit. So anyway, get it over and done with. Cross fingers. I'm here to talk to you next week. So This is me, artist Neale Howells, and one of the funniest comedians in the world, who's not really coming up right now. Oh, and I got right. Look, I'm terrible at there. Well, this is not ending. Come on. Will Ferrell. So the nod to you, Will Ferrell. One of the funniest comedians in America, as far as I'm concerned, at the moment. Right then. See you later. Bye. Right. I got to switch this off now. Now you will hear me trying to switch it off. And here I go. End stream. Good night.